You lied about Russia. You lied about Ukraine. Excuse me. Sorry about that. What are you going to do when the deep state can't protect you anymore?
Have a nice day.
When you're brought up for treason, what is your response going to be then? You're going to hear these words later, but you might as well hear them now. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law. You have a right to an attorney. If you cannot afford an attorney, you will be provided with one. Do you understand these rights as I've cited them to you? Adam Schiff, everybody. Guys, the Democrats are committing treason. This is the shame. He doesn't have time for my questions. But right now, what we have going on in our country is an attack on our sovereignty. And it's time that all Americans stand up against it. I pray that you wake up and the Democrats wake up to the lie that's going on. But I think that's what's happening. I think the American people are seeing through it. And that's the beauty of this. You can't hide from it anymore.
Have a nice day.
Scumbag.
The indictment is a giveaway in the history of indictments. I think I know them pretty well. You see how short it is? So you might think as a defendant, I get a little short indictment like that. That's terrific. That's if he committed one crime once. That is a preface, not even an introduction, to the major War and Peace novel that the indictment will become. They're beginning with him, maybe because of the time pressure. I mean, she can't be immune to the fact that there's pressure on her. I might think it's unfair because I'm a prosecutor, and I don't know what good it is to push prosecutors. But this definitely is a result of the president pushing her a little. And it's a good indictment. Don't get me wrong. It's a good case, but it's rather small in the big scheme of things. You've got a case that could be 3 times as broad as the original Biden RICO case that I outlined in my book. It could be that case plus 2 others all in one RICO case. Think of RICO as a novel with 7 or 8 chapters. Each chapter, a different crime, different predicates, and a different set of penalties. Plus, here's the benefit of RICO, Steve. You can take the money away.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't figured it out yet by watching the news, we are closing in on the most dangerous time. The indictment of Comey, the Clapper and Brennan coming back on television talking, Hillary Clinton talking, Blumenthal saying that when we get back in power, we're going to put them all in jail. And the riots, the anti-ICE riots, are kicking in. Let's start with this story of what happened. Ice Cube's tour bus was firebombed in Portland while he was in town for a performance at the Moda Center. Fire is currently under control. Officials are reviewing camera footage, nearby cameras gathering evidence, and the streets is saying that they firebombed his vehicle because they thought it was actual ICE bringing in agents. So they got word that Ice Cube was coming, or ICE was coming, and they firebombed Ice Cube's motor vehicle. And we're at a point where these people are going to be going crazy and they must be put down. And the good thing is we're hearing said what needs to be said. Now it's a matter if they're going to do what needs to be done. Now this gives me some pause because Pam Bondi comes back out running her mouth again. And I don't know if you noticed, there's a pattern. Anytime Pam Bondi runs her mouth, it ends in a disaster. I don't know if she's feeling good because she indicted Comey. She feel like she can come out. But let's take a listen to what Pam has to say. And I'm not a Pam Bondi fan, guys. I've been clear about this. And I don't think it's going to take a lot to change my mind on Pam. I know Donald Trump supports and says she's fantastic. She does a lot. Bada bing, bada boom. And maybe, in the next 7 days, I might have to come back and eat crow and be like, no, Pam, handle the business. I would be delighted to come back in 7 to 14 days and say, damn, Pam, you a bad bee. Girl, you so sexy, you so pretty, you handled all the business. I want to be wrong. Trust me, I want to be wrong. I was going to show you guys some of the stuff going on with Antifa, but then it just dawned on me that, we're in a phase where YouTube will pull a game and be like, oh, you showing violence. There's ample videos of people thrashing Antifa right now. Exactly what I said was going to happen. Like in Britain, they marching, Antifa come out, bing, 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 cleaning them up. Male and female, wiping the floor with them. You kind of know it's coming. That's why Pam, the FBI, and everybody else need to go deal with these protesters and these Antifa people now before it gets out of control. Because when it gets to the point where the American people start wiping them up, it's going to end bad. It's going to end real bad. And people going to wipe them up. They're going to come out there with a little mask on and they pepper spray and they bada bing, bada boom. And people going to sweep the floor with them. So they got to handle this. And they got to handle it now.
Put it all together.
You shouldn't be nervous longer.
Pam, I'm nervous for the country when I put it all together.
You shouldn't be nervous any longer because Donald Trump is in office and the weaponization has ended. We've made that very clear. Whether you're a former FBI director, whether you're a former head of an intel community, whether you are a current state or local elected official, whether you're a billionaire funding organizations to try to keep Donald Trump out of office, everything is on the table. We will investigate you and we will end the weaponization. No longer will there be a two-tier system of justice. And we are working hand in hand, Director Patel and I, Todd Blanche, with our incredible intel community, Tulsi Gabbard, John Radcliffe, going nonstop around the clock. People will be held accountable. They thought they got away with it because they thought they would defeat Donald Trump at the polls, and they didn't. He won by an overwhelming majority. He is in office now. We have made it crystal clear the weaponization of this country has ended. Everything is on the table. We are investigating all the weaponization, all the wrongdoing that has happened. We are issuing subpoenas. We are looking at things around this country. People have to be held accountable. No one, Sean, is above the law. No one is above the law, and you will be held accountable. And, a very liberal grand jury in one of the most liberal jurisdictions in the country just indicted James Comey. Now, we know, of course, we have to go to trial. We'll have a great trial team, and everyone, of course, is innocent until proven guilty. However, we are going to trial in this case, and this is just the beginning.
Well, Pam Bondi's back talking again. She's saying it's just the beginning. And forgive me, because I should be excited. And I am kind of excited to see that there's some justice being served. But, I don't know, Pam. You don't make me, I don't really feel comfortable with you, Pam. And it's understandable. I know and the craziest thing, I know they set her up with the Epstein files. I know they set this woman up. It's just something about the head of the Department of Justice just constantly, every chance she gets coming on TV, it just throws me for a loop. I just feel like, no, you in a war. You don't need to be talking. You need to be indicting. I just feel like, show me. Don't tell me, show me. You got one. Come out and talk to me when you got 20. You know what I'm saying? And it bothers me. But nonetheless, let's go to what's going on at ICE facilities and what they're saying is about to happen next. Heading over to Twitter, Stephen Miller, we are witnessing domestic terrorist sedition against the federal government. The JTTF has been dispatched by the Attorney General pursuant of NSPM-7. All necessary resources will be utilized. Let's take a look at what NSPM-7 is. All right, guys, I'm back and I found this and skimmed through it, and boy, this is wow. So here it is. This is the countering domestic terrorism and organization political violence, National Security Presidential Memorandum 7. And when you really break this down, I'm gonna get to the section that I had highlighted. Bro, essentially what it's saying is anyone who's arrested for example, all federal law enforcement agencies with investigative authority shall question, number one, interrogate, number two, within all lawful authorities, individuals engaged in political violence or lawlessness regarding the entity or individual organization, such actions, and any related financial sponsorships of those actions prior to adjudication or initiation of a plea agreement. So prior to you pleading, if you engage in political violence or lawlessness regarding the entity or individual organization, so let's just say law. These are the two things: political violence or lawlessness. Then before you go into adjudication or have any kind of plea agreement, you're going to get interrogated. Yeah, you're going to get interrogated. This is wild. So basically, all these people who are out in the streets right now, let me go to it. So, for example, these people at the ICE facilities, if they do something that's considered political violence and lawlessness, they're going to be arrested and interrogated. That's why you see them grabbing guys and bringing them in now. So imagine this is how dumb these people are, because you know they don't read the law. So watch this. You get up in the morning, you and your friends get online and you communicate and say, yeah, we're going to go protest ICE today outside the facility, right? Or whoever, somebody organizes and send out a message, say we're going to protest ICE outside the facility. You go out and you march and you get there. And you start getting lawless and acting crazy. And they're sitting there watching for you to break a law. When you break a law, they arrest you, drag you behind inside, which we've seen that over and over and over again today. We've seen a change in how law enforcement is engaging with them, especially ICE. Now they drag you inside. They interrogate you. Now, basically, they're weaponizing the presence of the protesters. So you gonna come, it makes all the sense in the world. You coming to me to bother me in the first place. You literally coming to where I am. And so all the intel I need is right outside my front gate. I mean, it's genius. And these liberals are too stupid to realize, no, bro, you need to sit down. Because when you get in there, if they're going to interrogate you. And you'll say, okay, well, hey, man, Anthony, we know you're out here protesting, and, you know, who sent you out here? I decided to come because you guys are evil, and you guys are this. Okay. Well, let me explain something to you. These are the charges we have you on. And this is the amount of time that you're going to spend based on these charges. And we plan on prosecuting you on this. So you got a choice. You can talk to us now, and you can take a plea. Because that's what it talks about. You can plea and talk to us, but you're going to have to give us up all this information. But right now you're facing 48 months in prison. Or right now you're facing 24 months in prison for A, B, C, D, E, F, G. And you know these leftists ain't finna go sit in prison. It ain't that serious for them. The only reason why they were out there doing this is because they felt as if they weren't going to get arrested. And so now the person's sitting there saying, well, you know, I got an email from this guy and he's the one that organizes everything. What's his name? What's his phone number? How do we get in contact with him? They just imagine they just gonna roll over one by 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 one. They all gonna roll. Because none of them is real criminals. Even the little Antifa people, none of them are actual real criminals. They just guys who've been getting away with acting a fool for so long that they feel like they can keep getting away with it. Yeah, this it's about to pop off. Yeah, it's popping off right.
All right, issue a fucking trespass notice. That's all you got. That's all you gotta do.
Come the fuck up.
Watch it. Put a glove on. Grab it. Grab it. Grab it. Put a glove on. Grab it. Put a glove on. Grab the canister for evidence.
Fuck you! Fuck you! Peaceful! This is what's fucking peaceful!
And so now these people finna have a run-in with a joint terrorism task force. Boy, they don't know what's coming their way. They don't even have a clue what's coming their way. The average citizen doesn't know what it means to have a joint terrorism task force on your behind. Matter of fact, let's go look at what a joint terrorism task force look like. Boy, these people is up the creek with no paddle. Here's the strange thing about the FBI. Boy, these people don't know what the hell they about to run into. The strange thing about the FBI is, when you think of the FBI, you think about guys with their FBI vests on, and their kits, and their khaki pants, and their blue shirt. Oh goodness! But when you start dealing with Joint Terrorism Task Force, and basically any task force, you get into some crazy crap. The guys don't look like FBI agents, quite frankly. First of all. And second of all, they start flipping people and making informants. It gets crazy. That's all I'm gonna tell you. It gets crazy.
My undergraduate degree was in religion. I was actually studying to either be a college professor or maybe even a minister. And then 9/11 happened, and immediately I realized that my future wasn't in the classroom. I'm not big into suits. When I worked white collar, sure, I was in a suit all the time. But now I'm working crimes against children. So if I'm gonna go out and I'm gonna talk to a 13-year-old victim, do I wanna be in a suit with a high and tight haircut, looking like an FBI agent or a cop? In my experience, no. When you grab one of these guys and he has been raping children and videotaping and distributing monsters like that, there's a sense of satisfaction that I have not had anywhere else. And I've worked homicides and assaults and murders and the mob and then in white collar. But there's something unique to this, because when you do right by those kids, I mean, you can't beat that feeling.
Now they're gonna copyright that. But the point I wanted to show you is, everybody think about the FBI like they're gonna stand up there and they'll look like one of these agents back here in the video. Like one of those guys behind the fence right there. Like that's what they're gonna look like. No, bro. When they start unleashing a task force, and when they unleash a task force on a group of people, it's all encompassing. It means all communications is tracked. All locations is tracked. Every text message, every phone call, like Antifa and them don't even understand what the hell that's being brought down on them. They don't get it. These little kids or these clowns do not get what has been unleashed on them. And I don't think they will understand it until it really starts popping off. Hold on, let me show you something else and I don't know what the chief of police in this area is thinking. I kind of get what's going on with them. You know, it's the skin idol thing, where their skin is an idol. In their minds, everybody's racist, but your job is to protect the citizens and protect and serve. Your job is to keep law and order. And quite frankly, if the police chief in this area was keeping law and order, these people wouldn't be on the streets doing what they're doing. But here he is complaining about ICE doing their job.
In a lengthy conversation with the I-Team, Broadview Police Chief Thomas Mills says he was verbally attacked by an ICE agent during a protest outside of the immigration processing facility earlier this month. This is the mayor of Broadview just issued a scathing letter to ICE, accusing agents of regularly exposing local police to tear gas.
I've been doing this job a long time now. But I was shocked. I've never been spoken to by a fellow law enforcement officer in such a way.
Broadview Police Chief Thomas Mills says on top of requiring 75% of his department's manpower for crowd control outside of the ICE processing facility in the west suburban city, he was personally, verbally attacked by ICE agents during a protest.
I'm a leader of a department. I know that my office is looking at me for guidance and leadership, and I had to ensure that, I had to stay calm and not engage in such unprofessional behavior.
Chief Mills says he was walking across a skirmish on September 12th, the day this video was shot. He was called multiple expletives by an ICE agent, calling him a coward, accusing him of neglecting his duties during protests that got physical. Mills also telling the I-Team about an incident earlier this week where a pedestrian was hit by a truck near the ICE facility.
In other words, somebody said something that hurt his feelings. The ICE agents hurt my feelings. They said something mean to me. Oh, my Lord. Oh, my goodness. I know we can't. I know the president and the government cannot allow this portion of this to proceed on, because if it keeps going the way it's going, it's just going to lead to more and more violence. So no, they can't allow it. But it's like the people deserve it. It really is like they deserve what they're getting. Someone said something mean to me and they cursed me like he couldn't have said something back to the person. And he went home thinking about it, because he had to come and talk about it on the news. And you know what they say? When you throw a rock into a crowd of dogs, the only dog that hollers is the one that got hit. And the worst part about it, and it's always the worst part about it, is you are a black police chief, which means it's primarily black dominated area, and ICE is cleaning up the criminals in your area, and you crying and whining and fussing. Crying, whining, and fussing.
Allegedly, a ICE agent struck someone and continued on into their location. And during the course of that, while trying to gather information, there was pepper spray released while my officers right there. They felt the effects of that pepper spray where it altered their vision. They were coughing, and I was on the phone with them, and they had to leave the area so they can decontaminate themselves.
Now, Broadview's mayor has issued a blistering letter to ICE excoriating their actions, saying, quote, Broadview police officers are routinely being exposed to ICE agents' tear gas volleys, forcing them out of action until they recover. Broadview firefighters and ambulance personnel are being exposed. Nearby residents are being exposed. Beleaguered Broadview residents are begging for relief from your center's siege of our neighborhood. And Congressman Chuy Garcia weighing in on potential conflict between local law enforcement and ICE.
You cannot come in and act as a cowboy doing whatever they want, running roughshod over people. You need to treat people with dignity and respect, and that's not happening.
Now, the investigation into that pedestrian struck by a truck outside of the ICE facility is ongoing. ICE has not responded to the I-Team's multiple requests now for comment.
Now, I know you may be trying to figure out which facility is the Broadview facility. That's the facility I just showed you images of. Give me a second. Let me fix this camera because it's acting stupid again. It's the same facility but I'll show you even more images of the Broadview facility. And the amazing thing is, supposedly the residents are complaining about what they're doing in their neighborhood, but you don't have a problem with the protesters in your neighborhood acting an entire damn fool. Let's just take a look at what the Broadview facility is and what's going on there, so you'll see. Now, I want you to tell me who's at fault for the ruckus at the Broadview facility. Is it the ICE agents, or is it this group of mad hyenas that you're about to watch? Who is making the most noise? Who is affecting the neighborhood? Is it ICE or these people? Because this is the Broadview facility. This is what's going on. This is what they're complaining about. Now, you tell me, as you look at this footage, what does a person do when their vehicle is surrounded by somebody like this? And keep in mind, these are the same people that just shot an ICE agency up with a rifle. So what you're telling me is you're supposed to let your vehicle be surrounded by these lunatics. That's what's supposed to happen. They're supposed to allow themselves to be surrounded by these lunatics. This is why the FBI the Joint Task Force is going in there. And what makes it worse is if the police in the area were doing their job, this would be shut down because this is lawlessness. This is breaking the law right here. Right? Every last one of those people who are in the street blocking them is obstructing. Every last one of those people should be arrested. Like everyone that's putting their hand on the car, pushing on the car, every last one of them, that's minimum, that's lawlessness. In so many shapes and forms. So what's going to end up happening, we'll probably see it when we wake up tomorrow. Gonna wake up to them going back out there to protest and getting rounded up and hopefully put on buses. I mean, arrested one by 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 one. And they need to be arrested. They need to be arrested and locked up. You won't let me out. Oh, you won't let me out. Now, the problem is lawlessness. That's the problem we're facing. Hold on. Now, some guy who I admire, I think it's foolish, but I still admire his bravery, decided he was going to go out and try and broker peace between the rioters, because that's what they are, and the ICE agents, the insurrectionists, the federal rule and lawbreakers, and the ICE agents. And look how they treated this man. And it's ridiculous. Every time he goes there, he's treated the same way.
Oh, wow. See, this is what I'm talking about, y'all. Right, look at it. She like, y'all can't be doing that.
The truth of the matter is, Buddy seemed like he a little slow. But he brave. But I'm going to tell you, is she breathing? Is she sleeping, snoring? Yeah, that girl in that car snoring, you hear that? Come on now, girl. You're supposed to be recording. But let me say this. Stop, because I don't want to force y'all to listen to her breathe. Let me say this. You see? Let that man get hurt. Let them do something that actually physically hurt that man. Where his blood is shed. You know, you see people who go do stuff like this, and sometimes you wonder what would make you do such a thing. But it ends up being someone who's so innocent at heart. It seemed like he's a little bit slow, but he's just innocent, and he really wants to try and make peace, and he really wants to support them people. Let his blood get shed. Watch what happens. All right, guys. You'll see this video in the morning. That's enough of these clowns. I'll see y'all later today.